We are going to continue with part 13 of our episode 5 with the next batch of examples of Creative Commons license sabotage by different users, and we are going to show how official, very famous users of the platforms, famous the artists that work for high-rated music companies are not doing what the law says in actively protecting their intellectual property on a platform on which they reside, and should monitor regarding how their work is used. But first we are going to take the next batch of examples. We are going to wait for the pages to load, as I specified in other episodes. We are going to do this live. Let's see. Okay. The first track, as you see, it has been removed, but I am sure that this track wasn't removed willfully by the user. We encounter throughout our accessing of the platform, of course, throughout a long period of time, that this actually happens, and it should happen with all the examples that I gave, which actually infringe the copyright law. As I said, this particular case, which is this one here, this was the track that was actually published under a Creative Commons license, believe it or not. But I don't know, probably the Soundcloud algorithm caught it, or automatically, or the track has been reported by a by an actual human being. As I gave an example with Benja Murano, which of course was is a very talented remixer. I have seen tracks removed, and even the entire account at one point was removed. I believe I gave him as an example. And at some time in the future, the account was again reinstated with the blessing of the SoundCloud owners, or without. I don't know. So with this occasion, I am going to present to you, the viewer, the ambiguity on which the unofficial music platforms such as Soundcloud, which is actually supposedly supervised by a professional team of lawyers that also represent some big music companies around the world. So this is why I have said that the complicity is wide. They are all accomplices, between themselves. The big companies are accomplices to what SoundCloud does. SoundCloud is accomplice to the wrongdoing and to the law breaking regarding the artist, and so on. The artists are accomplices themselves because they don't actively contribute to the protection of the intellectual property they own, because if they would lose fame. But in front of the law, they themselves are breaking the law. So at least we are going to start this episode with a felon that was caught by the algorithm of SoundCloud or by a human being. But the problem is that these are particular cases because of what I said in previous episodes. When the human factor contributes to this to the removal of these illegal posts, the claimant needs to actually be the original author of something that was infringed in the work, in the posted work, or he or she needs to be the representative of the artist which work has been infringed. So we started this part 13 of the episode 5 series with an actual action, an example of an action that needs to actually be done with the hundreds of thousands of accounts, or probably millions of accounts, of these infringers. Even if they are, some of them, they are actually talented remixers. But if their work is based on illegal actions, they should be sanctioned as an example for them not to do this type of thing in the future. We are going to go to the next example, which is Mr. Bill with Chia, of course a remix from of course the user Alex Dyer. Again, even if you are a fan of somebody, if he didn't give you the right if he didn't give you the right to use his work, of course you are not going to be allowed by the law to use it, even in a competition. So again, probably this one is an involuntary felon, because he might actually believe that a free download allowance is equivalent with a relicensing of a work. So again, if Mr. Bill did not give his permission for a relicensing of his work, Mr. Alex Dyer here is not allowed implicitly to relicense a modification of that specific work. And as you see, no one in the comments actually notifies these users that they are breaking the law. Soundcloud should actually get auto notified, by the diligence of the employees that should do their jobs about these law-breaking actions that are done on their platforms. So Mr. Alex Dyer, a possible felon. Let's go to the next example. Miss Meredith Laurel. This is a case where the user actually sings a folk ballad, a folk song that has unknown and also probably known multiple contributors, as it happens in tradition along the length of the history of a particular society, and she actually sings that song. According to the law, that normally should be a public domain which she uses, and of course her voice, according to the copyright law, she can license to whatever type of license she wants, even the standard copyright. But of course this particular user chose to actually contribute to the culture, to the wider world culture, by licensing her part, her contribution, under a free license, such as, of course, the Creative Commons by attribution license. So, of course, Miss Meredith Laurel is not a felon, but an actual, genuine producer of musical content under a free license. So, as you see, we have users that actually are good intentioned, and every user on the platform should be at least the same as this one. Let's continue with our examples. Of course, Mr. Bert Kreischer, and let's see, or Tyson Sanner. I believe this is an account probably used by by two producers, or his name in German is this one, and in English would be this one. Anyway, very confusing, by the way. Anyway, a ballad, of course he describes it properly as any producer, any user of a SoundCloud account should do. Of course, he tells us the title. He says who has written the work. He says who performed it. In this case, it was released by Bert Kreischer and released on his podcast Bertcast on episode 188. Let's see if because it seemed, look, this is actually was ambiguous. We might actually have a felon here. Let's see if Bert Kreischer gave the podcast under a Creative Commons license. No, it's not. Mr. Tyson Sanner is actually the user, the user of this account, and he tried to create an ambiguous situation, of course, where he sabotages the Creative Commons license. And as you see, SoundCloud is part of this type of sabotage, because now you don't know exactly who is the user of the specified account. Of course, we know that Bert Kreischer, as you saw, did not release the podcast under a Creative Commons license, and he released the podcast under a standard copyrighted license. So Mr. Tyson Sanner did not have the right to actually take an excerpt from that podcast and relicense it under a Creative Commons license. You had, Mr. Tyson Sanner, you have the right to take an excerpt, to actually make a parody or something according to, you know, the section 107 of the US Copyright Act in I forgot which year, but you are not allowed to relicense, to acquire their work and to make it your own. By relicensing it from a standard copyrighted license into a free license such as the Creative Commons license, you are doing just that. You are taking illegally some rights from a copyright owner without the blessing, without the express permission of that copyright rights owner. So Mr. Tyson Sanner is a felon here. Mr. Bert Kreischer, of course, is in his legal rights to actually make standard copyrighted work. But Mr. Tyson Sanner here should have his account, of course, obliterated, and a cease and desist letter sent to his email, to his post address, as the at least European Union requires. And of course, SoundCloud should have some sanctions upon themselves too, for allowing this type of illegal actions done on their platforms. Let's as you see, even if you are a genuine user, that uses the platform, like me, you can be tricked into thinking that many of these users are actually good intentioned, and they want the best of you, the best for you. But as you see, there are a bunch of low-life saboteurs, and a bunch of nasty people that put us, the free software and the open source community, in serious legal danger. Let's go to the next example. Mr. Lil Brit, of course, Ballad of the Whoever, made by Lil British, is a spin-off of the Ballad of the, which is made by both. Of course, he tells at least who made it, but of course, if let's see, Ballad of Brit. Let's see if there is on here. If we can find it. No, of course we cannot find it right now. I suppose this is what it's based on. Let's see both of them. Of course, the original copyright owner does not releases the original work under a Creative Commons license. Of course, the second one is not. Oh, Ballad of the. Oh no, this is the felon user. Of course, the original work was not released under a Creative Commons license or a permissive license that would allow relicensing. So Mr. Ballad of the Retard here, or the Retards, okay, Ballad of the Retards user is a felon because he didn't receive the written permission to actually make a modification and to, of course, release it under a Creative Commons license for us, the masses, to use legally. So again, another Creative Commons saboteur. Okay, yes, he's a Creative Commons saboteur, and he should be ashamed of himself. Let's go to the next user, of course, Cloak Dagger. This one seems known. Isn't that Spanish musician that we talked that he makes the composer, yeah, that I don't know, I forgot his name, and he has the composer into his name. At least the picture looks the same. No, I believe they are different. Different users. Let's see, does he have more Creative Commons releases? at least this user restricts himself somehow into using into relicensing copyrighted works. But let's see, edit and remix on Cloak Dagger has returned blah blah blah. He definitely says where he has the influences, from where he has the influences that contributed to the making of this posted work. But again, if the original song which he actually remixes, if the rights holders do not give their written permission for you to be able to relicense a work under a Creative Commons license, you are a felon, Mr. Cloak Dagger. If because you don't seem to actually have a declaration, a statement into the description where you actually telling me the normal user that you are actually taking or you are not taking the responsibility of the legal responsibility of this work that you posted on the Soundcloud platform. So again, Mr. Cloak Dagger might actually be a felon because he relicenses under a free license a copyrighted work or multiple copyrighted works through the samples that he uses, and he of course didn't receive the permissions from the original copyright holders to do so. And of course if he wouldn't have relicensed it, it wouldn't have been our problem anymore, but at least we would have known that hey, he made something on his own accord, and he wouldn't have endangered us, the free software community and the open source community, by misusing the Creative Commons licensing tool. Let's go to the next example. Of course, Mr. Adam J. That with a work called Farewell Ballad. Of course, a cover of his instrumental song Farewell Ballad. Yes, but I am sure that Mr. Adam J did not give you the permission to use his work. He may be given you the permission to use his work, but he definitely did not give you the rights to relicense the derivative work under a free permissive license such as the Creative Commons by attribution license, as you see here. So Mr. Adam J wasted talent, and I'm afraid you have the badge of a felon. Next example is going to be from Sonage. Of course, probably a Latin origin, which we know by now. These are a mixed bag. They can be genuine, but they also can break the law by infringing copyrights, and they don't even care about it, and they are going to even boast that they do it. For now, this one seems to be at least no, it's not. No, he's actually a felon because he just posts or at least makes a cover for a song that belongs, at least from what I know, to the Nintendo Corporation, which of course Nintendo Corporation is a very strict company regarding their intellectual property. And when Mr. Sonage here, or Sonage, or whatever his name is, when he relicenses it under a Creative Commons license, he endangers the entire free software community and open source community by doing this illegal thing. And of course SoundCloud is accomplice to this. Of course, Mr. Tommy Leland, let's see, he makes a cover for a work called Bright Eyes from Art Garfunkel. Again, if Mr. Art Garfunkel did not give you the permission to use his work, yes, let's continue. If he didn't give you the permission to use his work, of course you are illegally doing this. But for now, it seems on Spotify that he probably has the permissions, or he has two names. He has a name for a stage name, and of course he sometimes uses his own name from the birth certificate. So okay, this one might be actually a genuine user, because of course Spotify does not allow copyright infringement like SoundCloud or YouTube. They don't. They do have stricter filters in place for such breaking of for such law infringements. For such infringements of the law. Okay, Mr. Tommy Leland has a genuine account on Spotify, and of course implicitly this actually might be his entirely his own work, or he has explicit permissions from the original work called Bright Eyes by whoever, by Art Garfunkel, to actually make a cover of his own and relicense it under a free license such as the Creative Commons, of course, as he wished, as Mr. Tommy Leland wished. Of course he could have not do that, but if he has cleared, if he had cleared samples or the use of the original work, kudos to him to actually contribute to the wider culture by actually releasing some of his work under a Creative Commons license. So this actually might be a genuine user because of the Spotify account that somehow leads at least me to believe that he might be. We would like to have some more legal verification tools to be able to 100% prove who's who on these platforms and what their intentions are. Let's go to the next example. Of course, Mr. Whoever, Sriya Tahafa, he might actually be an Arab or something, or he might just randomly pushed keys. He randomly pressed keys when he completed his username on the platform. Of course, I am sure that Mr. Yesung did not give his blessing of his work to be relicensed under a Creative Commons license on Soundcloud by this particular user. So this particular user, a usual felon. Let's go to the next example. This one, as we know, is a producer that makes different songs of his own, and he sings them as naturally as possible, and not only they are distributed under a free license such as the Creative Commons license, but I believe if he doesn't actually infringes some type of copyright of somebody else, they can actually be used in education to actually show that you can actually be good enough at the beginning, and you can improve in the future. So okay, this one is actually in a 95% with a 95% probability a genuine user. Again, I would wish that SoundCloud would have some legal means to be able to check the works of these users that are probably good intentioned, but they are, of course, somehow in the unknown area. Let's go to the next example. The Orbital, of course, with the Echoes of Solace. Probably that's the album, and Silent Lamentations is the title of the work. Okay, we have a possible genuine user that makes probably psychedelic house music type of works, and this particular music has a Creative Commons license. Let's see if we have other works by him under the same. Okay, he is a genuine user, and he makes psychedelic house. I hope he doesn't have samples that he shouldn't use from a legal point of view. That would be my only amendment to this user. So okay, kudos to him for actually contributing to the wider culture. Let's go to the next example. Mr. Lozart, again, I have talked about him. He seems to actually use his recording studio for different artists, and of course he seems not to know how the Creative Commons license works. No, Mr. Lozart, when you say all rights reserved and then you have Creative Commons non-derivative license, no, you don't have the all rights reserved. You have, of course, you have for your own copy, you have all rights reserved, but for the copy, when I copy it, okay, and I am allowed to copy it once you have it on the Creative Commons license, even if SoundCloud has technologies to actually prevent that, they from a legal point of view, they are not allowed to actually have technological measures to impede me into copying the work released under the Creative Commons license. I do have the right to actually use it commercially. I don't have the right to remix it. But if I am playing it on my radio or somewhere, and if I distribute it even with money compensation, you and the artist can do exactly nothing about it. So you need to make sure that when you release under a Creative Commons license, you have not all rights reserved. You have the copy left sign, which is a C flipped from right to left, and you are saying some rights reserved, okay, on the work that you release, of course, under a Creative Commons license or similar. On the original work, of course, you on the master copy, you can have all rights reserved, and when I am seeing that on any platform, of course, I am not allowed to copy it. But this one, of course, I am. So, Mr. Lozart, you are an innocent felon, but if you are going to hear this in the future, please refrain from actually being any type of felon whatsoever. So let's go to the next example. Of course, Mr. Lozart, again, with a work, all rights reserved, fine, I don't have any problem with that. But of course, again, we have a problem with the Creative Commons license. So, Mr. Lozart, you can't do anything about this if somebody actually copies it. And as you see, if I am actually having this proof that you released this under this type of license, of course, I am allowed to actually use this work according to the Creative Commons license terms and conditions. So the only amendment I have to you regarding these posts is not to refrain yourself from writing all rights reserved on the work, but some rights reserved, okay, on the works you publish under a Creative Commons license. Let's go to the next example. Of course, Mr. Marcus Dwayne Gonzalez, lyricism, the ballad of Robert Johnson. Okay, this one seems to actually be very well described from a legal point of view. He even registered the work probably at a copyright office. Yes, this might actually be a 100% genuine user. He actually published this through a publisher, okay, and he released it under a Creative Commons license. So he gives you the possibility to pay him without actually mentioning who made this work, but he also gives us the permission to use his work even on commercial grounds by at least doing the normal thing, by mandatory mentioning him and his work when we use it in our derivative works or businesses. So Mr. Marcus Dwayne Gonzalez definitely is a genuine user. Let's go to the next example. Mr. Fendi Zachary. hold it against me, ballad version. The problem is if this is a cover and he doesn't have the express written permission to use that work to in a modified version, of course he is a felon. But if he made this completely original by himself, of course he is in the rights to actually release it under a Creative Commons license. And if he does have everything cleared from a legal point of view, kudos to him to actually contribute to the wider culture. But if he didn't, shame on him for being a felon. Let's go to the next example, because he doesn't quite have in the description, that's why I'm telling you this, that he doesn't have the things like Mr. Marcus Gonzalez here has. Okay, let's go to the next example. Mr. B. Hogan Music, Change Me, piano, ballad, instrumental. The problem here is again the same. If it's his music or he has the permission of the original rights owner, he has the right to actually make an instrumental. And for that, if he released it as you see in a Creative Commons license type of license, kudos to him for contributing to the wider culture. But if he didn't, and if his song is actually derived from a standard copyrighted material on which the original author did not gave express permission for using into derivatives, and especially to relicense it under a free license such as Creative Commons license, shame to B. Hogan Music for endangering us, the Creative Commons users on the Soundcloud platform. Again, Miss Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys is a famous user and artist on the platform. Let's see if she has actually protected her work. No. Alicia Keys, according to the copyright law, she did not do anything to protect her work. As you see, she did not actively, as SoundCloud says in the terms and conditions, she did not report these blatant misuse of her standard copyrighted work by these ill-intended users, of course, and being relicensed under a free license such as the Creative Commons license. Okay, so we have just gave you an example of a user that did not do according to the law the things that she needed to do, in protecting her copyrighted material and her intellectual property, as the law says. And at least in my country, if 3 years have passed and the original artist did not protected his intellectual property, the work in question goes into the public domain. Okay, Let's go to the next user. Of course, we already talked about Mr. Charles Free, the composer. He is an original producer, and he releases his music under the Creative Commons license. Again, another song. Mr. Bill Evans. Mr. Bill Evans is a user. Mr. William Evans is a producer of music under standard copyrighted under standard copyright, and he even does the racist thing where he regionally locks his work. Okay, some of his work at least. Let's see if the rest of his work is okay. He releases under a standard copyright license only. Okay, he is entitled to do so. This was just an example to show you how you can publish in a standard copyright license if you don't want to release under a Creative Commons license without sabotaging the free licenses, as you saw in this episode 5 series. So again, Mr. Bill Evans, kudos to him. He is entitled to release under whatever license he wishes his own work. Let's go to the next example. Mr. Charles Free, the composer, again. He releases under a Creative Commons license his own work. He states, again, played, recorded and produced by Charles Free under a Creative Commons license by attribution. That's how he takes the responsibility of the work he posts Let's go to the next example. Mr. Omar, Jojo Baby 2, of course, another felon. It wouldn't be a problem if you would have made a remix, but when you are relicensing a copyrighted work, Mr. Omar, you are being a felon, because I'm sure Jojo and Fiva and Morgan Smith did not gave you, or Dijon and Hula did not give you the right to relicense a standard copyrighted work on which they take money under a free license such as the Creative Commons license, which we can use widely, and not giving money, not being legally bound to give money to these rightful owners. Let's go to the next example. Again, Rakos the DJ, live at 5, Beyonce, Be May. Okay, Miss Beyonce here did not give you the right, or the rest of these Jay-Z and others, Kanye West or others, Destiny's Child, did not give you the right to release your mix under a Creative Commons license, because the Creative Commons license allows us to use their copyrighted material under more relaxed ways, even in a commercial environment, without actually paying these guys any dime. And I am sure Mr. Ruckus the DJ, with all the respect for your work, but you are a felon, because yes, you are allowed to make your mix, you are allowed to publish it as a promo mix if you paid those license I have talked throughout the video series to the collective management organizations. But those licenses do not permit you to actually release any of these works you have in this mix, under a Creative Commons license, especially this one here, which allows me to remix, to to do many things with the music of these copyrighted works that you included in the mix. And I'm sure the artists themselves would not allow me to do what the Creative Commons license allow me to do. Again, we are ending this part 13, and we are going to continue with the next part. So bye bye for now.